What's going on, everybody? Well, I haven't made a video in a while, so figured maybe make another one. I was on my way to work this morning, and well, let me give you a little more backstory. So last night on the way home, a transmission was acting a little funny in my '03 GMC Sonoma. So I stopped at the auto parts store and I picked up some transmission fluid, put the transmission fluid in, drove it around a little bit. Everything seemed pretty good. It wasn't really having trouble with gears anymore or anything like that. So I was like, all right, just got a little low on transmission fluid. I was a little concerned with where it might be leaking to, but not that concerned. And then this morning I got up to go to work. Car started overheating, ended up on the side of the road. Came out, opened the hood, and water everywhere. So I waited for it to cool down. Luckily, I had some water with me. I filled it up, and I got it home. When I opened the radiator, let me show you what I found. Nice. Let's see how hot it is. I don't think it's that hot. It's kind of hot. Nice, dark, milkshaky looking nastiness. And I'm thinking that most likely this is from the transmission. Guess I could be wrong, and it could be oil mixed. I certainly hope it's not that either. To look over here, you can see that a lot of these hoses have a nice sheen on them. So the transmission acting up and this going on. Pretty sure it's transmission fluid inside of the radiator. Really, honestly, even kind of smells more like transmission fluid. To try and clean all of this out, take you with me on that journey. Hopefully we can save my transmission. Hopefully it didn't do too much damage, and I guess we'll see. Well, we are back, and the shroud is taken off. I did end up removing the air box. It sits right here. It has a few screws, top come off, and then a couple of bolts and a couple of prongs here that it sits in. It's pretty easy to take off. Got a hose clamp there, but it comes off pretty easy in two pieces. The fan shroud is out. Like I said, I've disconnected and pulled off the lower radiator hose on this side. Don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to try and take these lines out. Now, I know that I can take these lines out if I remove those plastic pieces and then snap the little ring off that's in there. But instead, because I don't want to risk losing any of the little snap ring things that hold them in, so I think I'm gonna try and unscrew these things, or they're just gonna try and take them out. I know that the radiator is not good anymore. I don't think there's any danger in me taking it out. I'm gonna have to replace the radiator. Go for that. So I'll try and bring it back in, let you know if that worked. If it doesn't work, then I guess I'm gonna have to take these little plastic pieces off and then pop out the little rings, which be a little more difficult down there. See what I can do. These are a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you know, they've got a little bit of movement to them. My AC don't work in this truck anyways. This is my backup truck. I've had this thing for 20 years. At this point, I'm just hoping I can save the transmission. I'm hoping that the leak only went into the radiator and that it also didn't get water into my transmission. If I didn't get water into my transmission, I may be able to save everything and it'll be all right. If I did get water in my transmission, I don't know, man. I mean, it could be really bad. Take it one step at a time and hopefully it'll be all right. So I'll be back in a little bit when I figured out if my plan for those hoses work. All right, so there we are. Radiator's out. As you can see, here's a good example. Undoing that bolt got me out of there. Now I can kind of mess with these and be able to make sure I don't lose that little clip. That's the most important thing. Over there, same thing, man. Just got that bad boy out. Was able to get the radiator out. Did drain it some. Didn't have a lot left in it. I don't know if you can See that? That's kind of nasty. Now there's some other oil down in there that came from one of the other lines, but yeah. That's nasty. I really hope it didn't get in the transmission. I also got to try and get it out of here. Don't know if you can see down there. Sun's kind of at a bad spot, but it's in there too. So hopefully I'll be able to get it out of there as well. I think that's what I'm going to try and do next. I'm going to try and get it out of there. Let you know, bring it back in here in a minute. I wish I had a better way of doing this, but I'm also trying to get this done quick because brilliantly, I parked this thing in the driveway and pulled the radiator right behind my only other working vehicle. Because I'm an idiot. Anywho's, let me see if I can get that out of there, then I'll bring you guys back in. Okay, so against my own better judgment, I'm going to try and pull this reservoir out of here. That is I believe it's an ECM. I'm not super great with the electronics on these cars. That's the brain of your car. It's a brain of an 03 Sonoma. And those are 21-year-old wires that are they're old and crusty, and you probably don't want to try and be moving that if you can avoid it, but I saw no other way to get this thing out of here and clean it out, and I don't want any more of this fluid going back in. So as you can see, there are 3 holes in the top that bolts to, and then there are, let me turn you this way. There are 1, 2, and 3 bolts on this tank. So let me try and take this tank out with one hand. I'm probably gonna screw this up, but trying. Oh, come on. I guess I should have disconnected the battery too. That might have been a good idea. You know, probably should have thought of that beforehand. I feel like I'm hung up on something. Yeah, let me get this line up. Okay, and I'm out. There you go. I'm gonna disconnect one of the battery cables and dump this out and clean it out. I took the reservoir out, cleaned it out, hosed it out, put it over there, got as clean as I could. I'll probably do it one more time. Right now, I've got hose set up this. I got my daughter ready to start the car. What I'm gonna try and do here is basically a flush. Have her turn it on while I hit the hose, and I'm gonna try and flush out the entire system of any of the transmission fluid that still may be in there. So here we go. I might start spraying. If it does, I'll probably turn this off, but we're gonna give it a shot. She's also gonna be watching the temperature, make sure it doesn't get too hot. All right, start her up. Oh, I disconnected the battery. Let's do it again. Here we go. Turn it on. Nothing? Okay, try it again. There we go. Stop, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Yeah, that is not gonna work. So I got you guys on a tripod. Pretty nice, right? Gotta stand there. Hopefully, I got it lined up correctly to where you can see me. So I got the new radiator. I'm putting on the connectors. I've already taken off the old ones, and the new ones come with their own snap-ons. Isn't that nice? So I guess I didn't have to worry about the old snap-ons after all. Once I get these on, I will be ready to put it back in. I'm gonna have to find a real wrench. Damn, somebody's cooking something that smells good out here. So the scary part about this is I'm doing all of this. I'm replacing the radiator, doing all this. This thing cost me almost 200 bucks. And the reality of it is if the transmission has gotten a lot of water in it, it may be shot. So I might be spending all this time and money for nothing. It was still going when I pressed the gas this morning. Assuming that the transmission's not FUBAR, and we'll go through how I'm gonna deal with that. Might be okay. I got all of the, call them couplers, I guess. Couplers, yeah? Anyways, I got all the couplers on the radiator. And I'm gonna try and drop the radiator in. Now, I'm not gonna go through, I'm not gonna bother hooking everything else up. My lines should just snap in. I think I'm gonna put my new radiator hose, lower radiator hose on. Probably reconnect the upper radiator hose. I probably won't put the overflow tank back on yet, or the air box. So for right now, what I want to do is just effectively get the radiator seated and tested and make sure that there's no leaks. And once I'm done doing that, we're gonna come back and then put everything else back and then move on to the transmission and what we can do there, which is probably gonna be, I'm just gonna drain some of the fluid and see what it looks like. Most likely, if it's got water in it, it's gonna look the same color as what came out of our radiator, or some variants of that, light variants of that, and we'll be able to tell pretty quickly if we have to drain it all. Either which way, we've dumped a lot of our transmission fluid into our radiator. So that could have been why we were having problems. Even if we didn't get water into the transmission, we didn't have enough fluid still in the transmission. Without that fluid leaking into the radiator, hopefully we'll be good to go. So let's drop the radiator in and see what happens. Make sure we're in over here. I think that's in both sides. Let's see if these snap in the way that they're supposed to. There went one. Let's see if we got enough room down there to use a little persuasion. Persuasion worked. Those are on. Now hook up the radiator hoses. I don't think you all need to see how to hook up radiator hoses. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this and you're not bored to death, then you probably already hooked up radiator hoses at some point, or at least understand the basic principles. Poor dog sounds like it's good. Anyway, it's a sad bark. Anyway, radiator's back in. I don't know why I'm so proud about that. This could still mean nothing. Transmission still may be shot, but the radiator's in. Radiator's in. Put some water in it. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but also managed to spray myself down. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and see if it'll take a little more water. And then I'm gonna turn it on and we'll see if it leaks anywhere. If you're wondering why I'm using water and not antifreeze, it's because after I run this through for a little while, I'm going to drain it again. Probably gonna do that a couple of times, and just to make sure that any residual transmission fluid is flushed out of there. I know it's not like a legit flush, but I'm balling on a budget here, if you know what I mean. So let me hit it with some more water and see if it'll take it. Here goes nothing. You guys can't see this. Here, I'll tell you what, I'll bring you over here. Now, that is probably left over from some of the other cooling lines, so I still need to flush it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain the water out of the radiator, hopefully drain all of this, fill it back up. I'm gonna run it again and do that a few times until it appears that it's starting to look clear. So I have flushed it a bunch of times, like a bunch. I have run it, I have flushed it out, I have run it, I have flushed it out. I really should have tried maybe flushing it without hooking up the new radiator. I don't know what I was thinking there. Some of it got pushed in there, and now I'm having to flush that too. I've taken off the other hose and flushed through, and sorry, I keep getting my hand in the way. I've taken off the other hose and I've flushed it through and all of that, and I still keep getting little bubbles of it coming up, but at this point, for the most part, it's clear, at least. So now it is time to climb down and let some of the fluid out of the transmission, see if we got any water in there. I'm putting fresh water in until I feel like I've gotten everything I can possibly get out of there. As you can see, I already put overflow tank in, the ECM or PCM, whatever it is. I'm gonna put the air box in, but I'm gonna put that in after I put in the air shroud. But first I'm gonna go underneath and I am going to drain some fluid. Change of plans. In order for me to look at the fluid any other way than the dipstick in this vehicle is to drop the entire pan. I forgot this transmission was like that. So instead, what I am going to do is I'm going to put a couple of quarts in, and it might be wasting money, but I want to see what the fluid looks like. I'm going to put a couple quarts in, drive it around. I'm going to put all this back together. I'm going to see after that what the transmission fluid looks like, if it's got any milkshake color to it, if it seems to have any bubbles in it, any of that kind of stuff. If I get any of that, then I'm going to drop the transmission pan and I'm going to replace it. But until then, I'm going to try and avoid having to do that. If I do that, I'm going to do a whole nother filter and everything else. And this truck has quite a bit of mileage on it. And if the transmission fluid that's in it is decent, I just want to leave it alone. So right now, I'm really hoping that I was dropping transmission fluid into the coolant, but not the other way around. This is the end of the dipstick. It barely registering. I don't know if, there we go. It's barely registering any fluid on it, but the fluid that is on it, it looks like regular fluid. So we'll give this a shot. Worst case scenario, I think I use up a couple quarts of transmission fluid that I didn't need to. Best case scenario is it turns out that it only bled one way. So I guess we'll see. Put everything back together. I did not hook up the overflow. I just got the hose kind of hanging on there right now. Matter of fact, maybe we should flip this. That way, if it pumps out any more of that, it'll go out of the car instead of into the overflow tank. I put 2 quarts in. I'm gonna take this thing for a little ride. I'm gonna bring you with me. I set you in the seat. I'm not gonna show you my whole neighborhood. It helps take the wheel chucks out. Set you on my lap. I think that's about the best I'm gonna be able to do. Let's see if she drives, shifts, she overheats. All right. First, second, I think. To be honest with you, it seems to be shifting a little bit better, but I don't know for sure. We'll get it out here. We'll drive it. Pretty sure that's 4. I think that went into, I think that's 5. I don't know. I don't even know how many gears this transmission has. Probably should have looked that up, and probably help me if I rolled up some of these windows, give me the ability to hear it a little better. Just rolled the windows up. Okay, this one. I mean, I don't have any AC, so it's gonna be okay. That's second, third. Felt like 4. if we just cruise at a speed. It was alright. It doesn't seem to be sliding in and out of gear, at least not yet. Don't want to get too excited. It was acting real funny when I put transmission fluid in it the other day on the way home from work. It was sliding out of gear. It would fall back to the gear below it. At this point, it's already driving better than it was. Will it stay that way? I don't know. I'll have to get home and then let it cool down and look inside of the radiator again, just to make sure. Seems to be doing okay as far as temperature. It's been a good truck, and if I can keep it running, that's what I want to do. I am going to drive around for a little while, and if anything significant happens, well, I'll bring you on back. But for now, I'm just going to drive and test her out. I'm back home. It seemed to do okay. It seemed to do what I was supposed to. I'm going to check the transmission fluid. So here, let me turn this around. I don't know if you can see that, but there's no foamy stuff. It doesn't look milkshake. It's right to the bottom edge of hot, and the transmission is hot, so it should be a little higher. Let me dip it again. It's a little below hot on this measurement, so it definitely needs some more. And I don't know if you're supposed to check it with the engine running or not, but if it's coming up both ways low, then it's low. I'll probably look it up and just double check and make sure. But I think I'm going to add another quart, and I'm going to let everything cool down, and then I'm going to check the inside of the radiator again. Guys, I hope you guys can hear me. There's a truck behind me, so I hope the audio comes through okay. But basically, that's what it looks like now. I've let it cool down. It's not bubbling. Every once in a while, if I run it, it gives me a little wisp of the oil. You can still see like there's a residue, like a film in there. It's probably going to take quite a while to push that out, but all in all, I think it's better than it was, and at least it's not overheating, and it's not getting worse. It's actually like getting better. So there you go. Taking it for a second test drive. Everything seemed to be pretty good. Knock on wood, you know. It didn't overheat. It stayed cool. The transmission seemed to shift okay. It just, you know, I'm crossing my fingers. If this has been helpful to anyone, that's great. That's why I make these videos. So, all right.